friends. Welcome back to another Colourful Keto with Dori. I do not own the amazing rights to Genesis. Oh, so awesome. All the time. But we're listening to Genesis for a reason today. We are getting together with Jessie Bell Keto of KetoGenesis, and we're going to talk about groups. We're going to talk about Facebook support groups. We're going to talk about her brand new support group. We're going to talk about if you want to start a Facebook support group, how you go about doing that. So I'm really excited to chat with you guys today. And as always, it's an open forum Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in and we will cover as many as we can. I'm going to get my phone ready so that I can watch our comments on Facebook on my phone. Hello, darling.
Hello, Dori.
Oh, look at us. We have sound and everything. We're so smooth, girl. Wired for sound, wired for sound. So why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself, and I am going to quick pop over and I'm going to share this live from my public page to your group and to mine.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, just in the last, a week ago, I decided to launch my own group. And it's something I've been kicking around for a long time. And Dori's been very, very supportive, saying, well, why don't you? I mean, you have plenty to share. And I think, well, what do I have that 7 gazillion other keto groups don't have? And it wasn't that I felt like I didn't have enough to say. It was that, is it all being said by everybody else? So I really started thinking about it. And the one thing that I see in all of the groups is all of the technical support, the food, diet, recipe support, and I want all of that because that's very important. And at the same time, and I said this in my other live, that sometimes the emotional stuff kind of goes by the wayside, and I want people to be open to discuss what they need to discuss. Now, today my issue is, where is my tweezer?
Right.
What does that have to do with keto? What does that have to do with keto? Well, for me, it has everything to do with keto because I have PCOS. And I'm sorry, but when you have PCOS, you got these stupid hormones like shooting through your body, and all of a sudden you got like a whisker growing out of your face. Well, I want you to be able to talk about it.
Okay, so
embarrassed that you have a whisker because you have a medical condition that is screwing around with your ovaries and shooting off hormones that are not supposed to be in those quantities because of polyovarian cysts.
I grow like 2 or 3 on this side, and you know what? I can feel them long before I can see them, and I'm like,
yeah,
I can feel that. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to say that when I'm driving around with my guy, and he like runs into the bank, and I pull out the tweezers, and I start tweezing because the lighting is awesome in the car, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. He's like, you make yourself look like an old lady. Don't tweeze yourself in public. And I was like, but the lighting is the best, dude. You don't understand. Clearly you don't understand.
You do not understand. Like, I mean, you have hair that's supposed to grow there, but we are not.
Well, and this is why we need somewhere to discuss that. Because you know what? Yeah. He doesn't understand that. You understand that. When I get on Messenger chat with you and we talk, we can laugh about that. And that's the beauty of having a Facebook support group. Because you know what? These silly things are going to happen to you all day, every day. And maybe your friends don't understand. Maybe your husband doesn't understand. But we're all keto, baby. We understand.
And I have to tell you, I did have a breakthrough with this. Because I always hid it from my husband. I would never let him see me tweeze or pluck. And then I slowly started kind of revealing, I got to do this. But I still would just try to hide it from him. And now I pick up the tweezers and I'm like, and here's the funny thing. The other day, he was being all like affectionate with me and, and then he's like, hold still a second. And he goes, and he pulled a hair out of the side of my neck. And I'm like, you know what? I have no idea how freeing that that issue. But getting back to keto, that is one of the things that it's helping with me, because I still get the hairs, but they're getting finer. They're getting softer, and I think they're getting a little less. I know that a lot of my other polyovarian issues have gotten better. My period's gotten better. It's a lot more regular. It's not as painful, things like that. But I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about being afraid to go to the supermarket because you're worried about what people think. I want you to talk about how you used to be lively and vibrant and outgoing, and now you just don't want to leave the house because you don't feel good about yourself. I don't want to be talking all day long, every day. Tell me your problems. Tell me your sob stories. I want to talk about what are your problems? How is keto making it better? If it's not, what can we do? Let's figure this out, and let's help each other through it, and don't feel like you can't bring that sort of stuff up, because you can come to myself, you can come to Dori, and you can say, I want to make something for a big dinner party, and we're all about that. Yes, that's cool. Let's do that. But I also want you to be able to talk about the other stuff and just not feel embarrassed or ashamed about it. Because we go through a lot.
Well, and there are a million recipe groups where you can go. If you're looking for food, you're looking for recipes, there's a million of those. But all day long, we need to talk about the things that nobody wants to talk about. Because nobody wants to talk about them simply because they're taboo. And as soon as we start talking about things and we start sharing our feelings, then guess what? Somebody else looks at that and goes, oh, dear God, me too. I thought that was, Jess, I thought that was just me.
I thought I was the only person with I thought I was the only bearded lady.
Right? Or I thought I was the only lady who, wants to stab her husband when he eats the last piece of bacon. The other day, oh dear God, this is what happened in my house the other day. Okay, so remember, a week, 2 weeks ago, I made those awesome keto chow cheesecakes, the individual cheesecakes. I made the huge error of taking one bite of it, setting it down on the counter, and walking away to pee. And I came back as my guy, and I was like, did you just eat the last bite of my cheesecake? And he goes, oh, well, it was just like one bite, and it was just sitting there, and I thought you had more. And I was like, that's the last bite of cheesecake, dude. And he doesn't understand. He's like just looking at me like, I don't know why you're still looking at me. But I could go to group and you guys understand.
Yes, we do.
It was the last bite though.
And that hurts sometimes.
Mine.
Right here.
Mine.
It hurts. Especially when you're doing something that's so restrictive that you have your little pleasures. You don't want somebody to take the last bite.
Right, dude, you are eating on that chocolate bar that is this big. And I will tell you, I have these really pretty gold foils because they go at the bottom of the chocolate bars he likes to buy for himself. Do you think that he lacks treating of himself?
Are you my grandmother? I swear to God, she saved all that shit.
But they look so pretty for food pictures.
Yes, they do.
I put my ice cream sandwich on top of it, and look at how it reflects back. It's just beautiful.
Yes, it does.
Best hair day ever, just saying. Like, if no one else is going to say it, I'm going to put it out there and say my hair looks awesome.
Yes. And I went into this complication where I was like, oh, I took a shower, I never blow dry my hair. I was just kind of let it air dry, but I didn't have time today. I'm like, Dori, what do I do?
What do I do?
I think I'll just have to go with the messy look.
And you know what? My answer is always roll with it. Is it not? Like, when you ever call me, message me in a panic and say, Dori, what do I do about this or that? Do I not always say, it's not that big of a deal?
Nah, I just roll with it.
Just go with it. Just do it. Just do it. It's all good. And I will tell you, when we first started talking about you wanting to start your group, because it was months ago. It was before the summer. It was, I want to say, somewhere around KetoCon time. So mid-June, end of June, kind of was when we first...
Just slightly before KetoCon.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, if I start a group, KetoCon would be such a good launch for me. But I couldn't go.
Yes.
Which is okay, because I was spending time with my family. I'm okay with that. I'm going this year.
Yes. Oh, girl, I'm already so excited for, like, I keep calling it this year instead of next year. Technically, I guess it's next year. But I'm so excited. By the way, hearts, guys, because I see some people who are going. Like, I see Lindy in here, and she is going. I see some of our sisters that we are going to, like, run and hug like crazy. Last year was kind of quiet. I was the only one running around like a lunatic. I'm pretty sure I was the only one running around like a lunatic. But I really envision Dori running around like a lunatic 50 deep. You know, like, these are my ladies. What are you guys doing? What did you do today? We hanging out, we having fun. And I know that I'm going to have my little people collection. My Evelyn is coming, and she wants to be my mini-me unicorn princess mascot, and I'm all in. Like, I am running in the door. Where are my kids at? Maria's boys, Danny Vega's boys. Man, the So-Go Snacks little girls, they were so sweet. Like, if you see me running around like the Pied Piper with everybody's children, don't be shocked. And if I run off with your child, I don't intend to keep them. They won't let me bring them back to Canada. Don't worry.
My daughter wants to go, and she's sitting right here.
I know. You have to be keto if you want to come, little one.
That's to see. And she just went to her heart. So it's up to you and me and all you guys out there, Dori, and the entire crew, to let's figure out how can my daughter like it, because there's so many cool things you can do for kids with keto.
Yes.
And she's not buying it. But I did start making keto breakfast for my son, and he doesn't even know, and he loves it. Make little cinnamon egg rolls with a little lakanto and some butter on top, and I slice it into little rolls, and it looks like little mini, like, cinnamon rolls. And he doesn't even know it's keto, and he just eats it.
See? And half the time, that's the way to go. And that's, honestly, if she weren't right there, I would give you more tips. But she there. So we're going to save them because she right there. So, but I do have some super secret tips that I will share with you. But for most of the time, I'm just going to say don't even mention it. Like, really, in all honesty, most of the dishes that we eat are keto, nobody would guess. If you're making, loaded cauliflower mash, nobody's going to be like, oh, is this keto? It's delicious. It's cauliflower with, cream cheese and sour cream and grated cheese and bacon and onions and like, who's going to say, are you feeding me keto again? Just eliminate the carb side. In the beginning, I still made everybody the carb side. I just didn't eat it. And now I don't really find I make it all the time anymore. Once in a blue moon, I buy them those cheapola bags of the heat me up rice. Whatever, if you want a carb, throw one of those in the microwave. But I don't go out of my way to make them. And I've kind of gotten on the baggish side of it in that I'm like, you want potatoes? Go ahead and make yourself that. Like, you want French fries or hash browns or, you knock yourself out and you make that. And then guess what? They don't feel like making it either. And then they don't eat it. Because I'm the mommy, and whatever I don't make doesn't get eaten at my house, really, for the most part. I mean, unless they feel like getting up and making it themselves, and let's be honest, even though Sydney's right there, is she still looking right at me?
Mm-hmm. She's right here.
Okay. No, she's still looking right at me. Okay. Even Miss Sydney is going to eat what you make her. Let's be honest. Girl, are you going in the kitchen and making your own snacks, or are you eating what mommy makes for you? Let's be honest for 2 seconds. She's going to eat what you make for her. It might not be her first choice. I heard an argument yesterday. Why don't you just eat an apple like it is? I don't have to make it anything fancy. You could just eat an apple. It isn't any different than when it comes to any other way of keto. As cold-hearted as it sounds, your family's going to eat what you make. If you don't make it, they won't eat it.
And I'm not even shooting for keto with them right now. Right now, I'm
low carb-ish is fine.
Right now, I'm shooting for paleo for now. You know, because with kids, they're growing and stuff, and they can eat keto. A lot of kids do. But, you know, I'm willing to just kind of ease in and see how paleo works. And if paleo works, great. And if we need to go a little bit more keto, that's great too. Because my son has ADHD. And these are some of the other things that I'd like to talk about in our group is, you know, with kids. Because my son has ADHD. My daughter, God bless her, has got the same anxiety that I have. And, you know, starting with paleo, that might help with them to, you know, not have as many symptoms. And maybe that's all it takes for a child. Or maybe keto is even better for them, you know, so kind of feel that stuff out. But I would really like to talk about some of that too. And some of the stresses that go along with having an ADHD child, you know, and how can keto help with that? What specific things can keto do to help? So I guess with KetoGenesis, I want it to be really just an open forum of not just the technical aspects, which I like too, because I'm just like a geeky, like I watch videos and read books and listen to Audible all day kind of geek. But at the same time, let's talk about this other stuff because we're living a whole life. And it's not just keto. It's keto plus this and that and the other thing. And there's a lot that goes with the keto lifestyle. Keto is the basic, but there's a whole lifestyle.
Well, and there's a lot of things that other groups don't cover that we do in our group. For example, things like, you know, going through your wardrobe. How do you gut your wardrobe? How do you reuse? How do you move from season to season? How do you deal with the emotional issues of shopping, of still going to the plus size section? Because hands up hearts, if you guys walk directly to the plus size section like I do, it has been a long time, long beeping time since I've worn a plus size. But I'll tell you what, it's like I'm on autopilot, and every time I walk into a department store, I find myself smack dab in the middle of the plus size section going, where were all these good clothes when I could fit them? Because, girl, I swear, these clothes were uglier when they were my size. And I wander through that section, and I actually kind of go, ooh, that's cute. I'd totally wear that if that was in my size. And then I slowly wander back to the clothes that are my size, and I maybe or maybe don't pick those clothes. Because half the time, I struggle with my mental size. And these are the things that your standard, you know, recipe and advice group, it's not that people don't need it. People are uncomfortable, and I get it. It's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of feels, you know, and there's a lot of things out there. But the problem is if we don't discuss them, if we don't break down those walls and those barriers, guess what? None of us is ever free of that. 10 years from now, we'll be like a sea of not mine, wandering into the plus size section still.
Mm-hmm. And you know what the other thing is that you pick up, okay, so I know some people shop at Maurice's because they've got a nice plus section. People shop at Torrid. Now, this is almost emotional for me a little bit because I really love Torrid. They got some really beautiful, trendy, you know, you don't have to wear a gunny sack kind of stuff.
Yes.
I'm almost sized out of Torrid because I think they go up to, I think their lowest size is an 8 or 10.
I sized out of mine.
I don't know if I can shop at Dori like much longer.
No.
And that kind of hurts me in a little way because it's a security.
It is. You know what? Pennington's. In Canada, it's Pennington's. And then there was, you know, a little higher level. But Pennington's was my wheel well. Like, I lived everything Pennington's. I knew their stock. I knew what was coming in. I worked at their sister company, Reitman's. Reitmans, however you prefer to pronounce. And so I knew their stock, I knew their clothes, I knew what was coming out, I knew season to season, I knew staple pieces, I knew everything about that girl. I shopped there for 20 years. Those ladies knew me by name, they knew my son by name. When I came in, they were like, oh, Isaac's back. Let me play with the baby. You know, and that was, for me to give that up, as stupid as it sounds, was shattering. That was everything I knew about clothes shopping. Everything I had done for the last 20 years.
Step out of your comfort zone into a new comfort zone. And you need to start understanding what fits your body now, because you're a different shape. And so, like, all of a sudden, my husband asked me, he asked me if I would, he was so cute. He said, will you just buy yourself a pair of spandex pants because you can rock them? And I'm like, but, I mean, and I'm not talking like workout leggings. He wants me to wear shiny gold spandex pants just to liberate myself and say I can wear them. And I'm like, you're asking me to step way out of the comfort zone.
Get the mermaid ones, just saying.
Yeah. You know what, let's take a quick moment, because I'm noticing on Facebook that a lot of people are popping in, so I just want to say
good.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Debbie Smith Stokes, she's one of my admins.
Nice.
Clampett, everybody's new to my group because it's a new group.
Nice.
Rita Urban, Candy Sykes, Lillian Bush, Rita Urban again, I already said her name. I got it this stuff. Linda Ballin. Okay, so
I do have comments I can read too.
I didn't see if she was here or not. Let me just double check. Yes. Nope, I guess she's not here. Well, I also want to just kind of pre-announce that I've been speaking with this lovely woman named Dee, and she's going to be jumping on my admin team very, very soon. So I just want to give her a little pre-introduction. I found from Dr. Barry's group on his Patreon page. And she's just a very dedicated person who's so open to just learning new things, and really she's just very enthusiastic. So I just thought she would be a good person to bring on board.
That's amazing.
Dee, if you pop in, I want to say hi, and if not, I'll make her play the replay.
Yes. So Kathy on Facebook says she has a really hard time wrapping her head around the new size too, and honestly, it's all of us. It is universal all the way around the board, because you know what, even at my biggest, somehow in my head, I thought I was a size 14. And now I still feel like I'm that mystery size 14. My guy just got home from work. So.
Hey, buddy. He doesn't believe me, but he's one of my BFFs.
I know. He's so funny.
But you don't know me. I'm like, yes, but you're still.
You're my BFF. He's funny, dude, and that's why we match so well. He just is hilarious. He doesn't want to come on camera. He's like, no, that's your thing. I said, one time you should do a video with me. He's like, nope. I'm like, but you're so funny, honey. Everybody would lie you so much. You're so funny. But he's like, no. No. Oh, so absolutely funny. So, let's talk a little bit about, I want to talk about, kind of what's out there, Facebook group wise, because I think those of us who decide to start our own groups, it's universally for the same reason. All of us originally came from those mean, nasty, no groups, where everything is a no, everything is negative, there's never any suggestions, and that's what it was like when I first started. Now, I will say... You always find the mean ones first, unfortunately. Some people are lucky and they just trip upon the best group at the beginning, and that's awesome. And how do you? Because you don't know, right? I didn't even know that Facebook groups existed. I was keto for 5 whole months, and one of my girlfriends was like, oh my God, Dori, I've been researching keto. I'm going to add you to my keto groups. And I was like, you're keto what now? There's what now? I did not even know that they existed. I literally was trying to do keto on my own. It was me, it was Mr. Google, and a sea of disappointment and wrong turns and learning things wrong, because of course it was only just me and I knew nothing. Like back then I was like, girl, I am so keto. I'm like keto AF. Like keto would look at me and be like, dude, you're so keto. But when I look back now, I was barely, if it fits your macros, low carb. Barely.
And that's so normal. You go in thinking, oh man, I'm doing research.
I'm the queen of keto.
And then you find out. So you kind of start out and just really psyched because you're like, I'm cutting out all the carbs. I'm doing all these things that people are telling me to do.
So smart.
And I'm keto. And you ride that way for a while, and then you start following these groups for a while longer, and all of a sudden you get, well, that's not keto. Well, that's not keto. Well, that's not keto. And you, okay, so maybe I'm not keto. Oh my God, I'm failing. I'm not keto. Well, you
right?
Are you feeling better?
Yes.
Then just keep learning, keep tweaking, keep asking questions.
Well, and my favorite example for that.
Have a thick skin.
My favorite example.
Because you'll get better and better and better as you go. And
yes.
you'll realize that bananas are not keto. So
right.
You didn't know that? Okay. But
sorry you didn't know.
Eating a banana?
Right.
Okay. Maybe now you know. Cut out the bananas, but you didn't fail. Like you're not gonna get whomped out.
You don't know what you don't know, right? Like you learn it when you learn it. And that's it. My favorite example, I think, is low-carb tortillas. Because that's a hard one. And everybody's like, oh my God, I love low-carb tortillas. Look at how keto I am. I hate to break it to you, but if you're eating low-carb tortillas, their main ingredient is wheat. They're awesome low-carb, but what they are not is keto. And they're great.
Right.
They're low carb. They're awesome. They're low carb all day long. There's only 4 grams of carbs. But I've actually had someone say to me, well, they're exactly the same as fathead because they're 4 grams of carbs. 4 grams of carbs equal keto. And I'm like, no, though, because your fathead is by ingredients keto. Your low carb corn or wheat tortillas are lower carbohydrate, but ingredient wise, they're not keto. Keto eliminates inflammatory ingredients. And that's, I think, the base of misinformation. So let's talk a little bit about that.
So you don't know that. Okay, well, now you know. My dog's name's Waffles. That's so not keto.
All right.
But we don't eat her.
We don't eat the dog.
I'm sorry. That's stupid. So you find out that this thing that you thought was keto is not keto. You didn't flunk out. Okay, so let's start looking at fathead recipes. Let's get some cauliflower recipes. Let's figure out, well, how can you make that low carb? Because we've established you like it. And we've established that it fits your keto macros. But the ingredients are different. So let's just tweak it. You know, don't throw in the towel. Don't say, well, I can't do this now. I can't have my tortillas. I can't do keto.
Right? Oh, I'm not as keto as I thought I was. I give up. I quit.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, I'm going to say that's my closing out thought, and I'm going to leave you one. And I'm going to say, you know what? Even if you're not doing everything right, because I didn't do everything right, raise your hand, Jess, if you didn't do everything right. Every single person I've ever talked to did not do it right when they were doing it in the beginning. We all, like 20-year-old style, oh my God, I knew everything, totally thought we were doing it right. Except that you might not be doing it right, and that's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean you have to give up. It doesn't mean you have to scrap it all and start again. It just means, you know what, let's be a little bit open to the fact that maybe, we don't know as much about our keto as we thought we did when we were all big in our britches and being like, oh my God, I'm so keto. I'm so keto, just saying, like, totally keto. And just being open to the fact that we're always learning. We're all always learning. And that's my closing thought.
I agree with your closing thought, and we're not all, okay, so we're all freshmen in college. And when we become when we get our master's degree, that takes time. Freshmen in college think they know everything all of a sudden because they go off to college, and now I'm a college student and I'm getting so smart. And then you find out, you're not.
You're not.
Going, and eventually you get your master's.
Right? And we're all going to get there. And you know what? Let's hold hands, link arms, and get there together, because I'm not kidding. I know it sounds kitschy, but when that wave rises, we all rise together. And when we share our knowledge and when we share our journey, we touch people, we teach them, we help them share what is inside of them to share. So go out there, share the keto love, and just remember, we are all valid. Your journey is valid. If you are doing it and you love it, then you have every right to go out there and share it just like everybody else.
Everybody else. And I still don't know everything, and I still make mistakes. Dori still makes me silly. I'll make mistakes.
What?
It's like,
no.
You do.
No. I'm so perfect. Perfect. Just say it.
But I guess my quick closing statement is, if you come on to when you come on to KetoGenesis, if you're not already a member, I really just don't want you to be afraid of anything. Okay.
Share it all.
We're not going to be mean, and if we want to talk about your limp or your autoimmune disease, or the fact that you're type 2 diabetes, or that you're shy and have social anxiety, or anything, just talk about it. If your kids are driving you crazy and you want to know more about how I feed my kids more healthily so that they're not out of their minds, food might fix that too. So let's just talk about all of it. And
let's do it.
And this fledgling group is so full of support right now. My heart just it explodes at how many people have been receptive so far, and I just want to continue growing that. So share KetoGenesis. Here's my plug. Share KetoGenesis with everybody you know, and share Dori, Colourful Keto Lifestyle, Colourful Keto with Dori, and all of the subgroups that she has under the lifestyle umbrella.
I love how smooth you are. Look at, you know what? I have still not yet found my groove with that. Like, Nancy's got it going good. Wendy's got her smoothness. I still have not yet found my groove. Like, share, follow. I just don't have it.
Right.
I love you, girl.
It was like, just love it.
Just, why won't you love me? I love you, girl. Have an amazing night, and as always, you inspire me, and thank you so much for what you share and what you give, and we love you. Bye, darling. Okay, guys, that was so much fun. It was so awesome. I have a quick 20-minute break, and then we are back with somebody brand new. We're going to meet Keto Nando, and we're going to talk about something really awesome. We're going to talk about how much losing over 100 pounds has changed our lives, and how it could change your life too. And also, we both really love Elvis. So there's going to be Elvis tunes. I'm putting that out there and saying, even if you don't love the keto, but you love the Elvis, come back in 20 minutes.